Welcome back. This session is going to focus on the cross-cutting concepts. Our session goals are to understand the cross-cutting concepts as one of the dimensions of the NGSS and to become aware of how the cross-cutting concepts may be used to deepen the understanding of science and engineering. What are the cross-cutting concepts and what is their purpose? Students need to be explicitly taught how to use the terms so they can be used throughout their education. Cross-cutting concepts are found in all of the science disciplines and in engineering. They are also carried over into other disciplines like social studies and math. Cross-cutting concepts are for all students. They raise the bar for students who have not achieved at high levels in academic subjects and often are assigned to classes that focus on the basics, which in science provide primarily factual information and lower order thinking skills. It's essential that all students engage in using cross-cutting concepts, which could result in leveling the playing field and providing deeper understanding for all students. The 7 cross-cutting concepts are patterns, cause and effect, scale, proportion, quantity, systems and system models, energy and matter, structure and function, and stability and change. Patterns is the first cross-cutting concept. We know that patterns are found everywhere. Scientists need to recognize and find patterns because they help to make sense of nature. Like the changing of the seasons, patterns can be found in different forms like shapes, structures, and events. They're important in both science and engineering. In science, patterns initiate questions. They explain why something happens that way or why it exists. Patterns lead to better explanations in scientific theories. In engineering, patterns are used to improve designs. Tests are run over and over to see if there's a pattern in their failures. Here are some examples of patterns. There are patterns that tell us the seasons are changing. Phases of the moon follow a predictable pattern. And patterns in bones help to tell which animals are related. The next cross-cutting concept is cause and effect. Cause and effect is innate in humans. From a young age, we want to know why something occurs. In science, cause and effect explains causal relationships, why things happen. And in engineering, it's a little different. We want to be in control of the cause so we can also control the effect. Some questions to think about when focusing on cause and effect are: what evidence is there for a cause and effect relationship? How can this cause and effect relationship be tested? And when doing engineering, how can I use this cause and effect relationship? What other cross-cutting concepts apply to this cause and effect relationship? Here are some examples of cause and effect. Many diseases are caused by harmful organisms. A nerve impulse is sent when a brain cell receives electrochemical signals. And increasing carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere cause temperatures to rise. The next concept is scale, proportion, and quantity. Scale, proportion, and quantity help us understand how nature is different when we study the very large and the very small. Some questions to think about when focusing on this concept: how does this interaction affect the global scale? How does this system look at smaller and larger scales? And what is new and what is the same? When doing engineering, we can ask, how can we study nature at this scale? How can we accurately measure this at this scale? And how does this scale relate to you? Some examples. You can't do this, you're too big. Scale affects how living things interact with their environment. Estimating how many needles on a large Jeffrey pine, maybe about 10 million. The sun is only one of 100 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. The next concept is systems and system models. In systems, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Nature is complex and confusing. Thinking about systems and making system models can help you make sense of it. What systems can you identify and study? What are their parts? How do they work together? What are the inputs and outputs of the system? What processes go on in this system? In engineering, we can ask, how can we improve the function of the system? What is accurate and inaccurate about our model of the system? And how can our system's model be made more accurate? Some examples of systems. The water cycle is a global system that interacts with many other systems. Hot and cold water with food coloring is used to model convection. And an electrical circuit is a simple system that's easy to change variables in. Next concept, energy and matter. Energy and matter change forms but are not created or destroyed. Energy flows and matter cycles through natural systems. Questions to think about: how are energy and matter related in the system? Where does the energy for the system come from? Where does it go? What is the role of matter in the system? How does it change? In engineering, we can ask, how can we improve the energy efficiency of the system? And if we change the materials, does that improve the system? Some examples. A star is born when it begins to convert matter into energy through nuclear fusion. Conservation of mass means that atoms are not created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. Instead, the atoms are rearranged to form new substances with new properties. In recycling, the matter gets used again, and less energy is used to make new things. Structure and function. The way in which an object or living thing is shaped and its substructure determine many of its properties and functions. It determines what they do. Questions to think about: how does the function depend on the structure? How does the structure support the function? Are there other structures that can serve the same function? In engineering, we can ask, how can the structure be improved? How does the structure limit the function? And how do other cross-cutting concepts relate to the structure? Some examples. Triangular braces make this tower strong. A fish has body parts that helps it swim, eat, see, and breathe. And the condor's wing is exquisitely adapted for soaring. Stability and change is our last concept. In nature, some things stay the same and some things change. Changes can be fast or changes can be slow. Questions to think about: what causes change in this system? What causes stability in this system? Are there feedbacks that make the system more or less stable? In engineering, we can ask, how can we make the system more stable? How can we make it change? If the system is stable, what would cause it to change? And is the stability static or is it dynamic? Some examples of stability and change. Plate tectonics build up mountains. Weathering and erosion tear them down. Balance is complex and involves many forces interacting. And the finches on the Galapagos Islands are adapted to different environments and lifestyles, but all descended from a common ancestor. To complete this session, you need to read the article, The Second Dimension, Cross-Cutting Concepts, watch the video, and answer the questions. This is the last session. Thank you for taking the time to complete this training.